Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I just wanted to share with you some things that I've got recently that you might be interested in. I've got some sketchbooks and I've also got some new colours in my Neo Colour 2 range, as well as some new colours in my Ecoline range. I think this colour palette looks quite spring-like. Over the last weekend I recently started back my drink and draw workshop. That was the first one of the year, and the subjects that we chose, or the subject that I chose, was daffodils and lemons, and it was held at a really nice venue called the Salty Pig, which is actually a cafe kind of restaurant, and they've got a really nice space because it used to be one of the barns. It's on a farm, and Laura is the lady who runs it, and she basically lets me take over the space for a Saturday morning, and basically we all draw and we have drinks as well, hot drinks that is, rather than alcoholic. But yeah, the theme was daffodils and lemons, and it was really nice actually, because we set up this table with lots of daffodils, and then I brought along lots of different jugs and kind of put the daffodils in amongst them, and then also brought some lemons, and we just spent an hour drawing together. So I thought actually it would be really nice just to actually do some of those exercises that we did on Saturday and do them in my new sketchbooks. So let's get on to what I have here in front of me. For those of you who are new here, my name's Mel Chadwick. I'm an illustrator, but I also love to keep sketchbooks, and on this channel you will probably see mostly unboxing, art hauls, and then sketch type vlogs and videos, and also I love taking the camera outside and sketching on location and in the open air, so you'll probably find videos of that as well on this channel. Okay, so first up I've got these little sketch and note sketchbooks. If I undo the band, these I actually bought from my local art shop here in Mullion, and they seem to stock the Hahnemuhle range there. So I haven't really tried Hahnemuhle, so I thought I would try these little sketchbooks, which will be ideal for either swatching or when I'm out and about and want to take a really quick observational sketch of something. I thought these would be great for that. And the paper is 120 grams. It's got 40 pages, and you can lie it flat. So I thought they would be ideal just for the quick kind of sketches. And we'll do some exercises in one of those. And this is another sketchbook. This is by a brand called Piff, and I've seen quite a few artists I know use these sketchbooks, and so I thought, right, I want to find out what this is like and see what all the fuss is about. So I purchased the large size, which is, I've seen it's slightly bigger than an A4. So most of the sketchbooks I use are moleskin. I've really enjoyed using them because the paper just does what I want it to do with all of the different materials I use. So I'm going to see how this stands up to the moleskin. So it comes very nicely packaged. They also put in a desk meadow, so that's interesting. Some art cards and a little note, which just always makes it quite personal, and that's from Sam. So that was nice. And yeah, a little art postcard. So it's wrapped in like glassine paper, I think. Little sticker. And they sell this in a number of different colours. I chose orange because I wanted something nice and bright and that I would kind of go pick it up and be like excited to use it. So let's just have a quick look at how this is made. So I'll just show you. There's got a little tag here. And it looks like it's stitched. And unusually it hasn't got a spine, a covered spine. So it's got a hard cover. All the details are here if you are interested. So let's have a look. It says it's made from recycled board in the Netherlands, and then the pages are 170 grams of sustainable paper made in Germany. The thread is polycotton, made in the UK, label, cotton and glue, PVA. And then it's printed and bound by Martin's Printers, Berwick upon Tweed. And hand finished by, I'm not sure what that says. So let's see. Wow. So yeah, it looks nice. It definitely looks nice, and it folds all the way back. Texture. It's very smooth. You can see a little bit of texture in there, maybe from the way the paper's been made. It's going to be interesting to see how it holds up to wet mediums, I think. I'm not sure whether it will bleed through. But so far, looks nice. And the colour of the pages, it's not white, it's kind of cream. And I'm used to that in the Moleskine. Just see a comparison. So you can see it's slightly taller than yeah, so the paper colour of the paper, it's very similar. I would say almost even warmer than the Moleskine. Paper-wise, yeah. So Moleskine is always smoother, but it could be interesting. All I've got to do is try it, really. So that is Piff. So we'll give that a try in a minute. And then I've got these Neocolour colours, so you can see they're lovely and bright. I'm going to do a little sample of the colours in this little sketchbook here. I feel like these colours are very spring-like. So this one is orangish yellow. Salmon pink. This is yellow. Canary yellow. Oh yeah, you can see that. It's a little bit cooler than yellow. And lemon yellow. Yeah. Okay, and then I've got some green. So this is a yellow green. And a bright green. A turquoise green. That's great for seas. and a light blue. Have a little closer look at them. So pretty colourful palette there. And I wanted to test also these for you. These are from the Editions packet of Ecoline pens. So there is about 30 of them. So these are just a few from that pack. But all of the colours in that range are a bit more subtle or muted in some way. So I should say what that is. That's yellow ochre. That is pastel red. It's like a sunshine. That's a deep yellow. A light yellow. A chartreuse, which is again similar to the Neocolor 2s. This one is a spring green. Got grass green. Is a bronze green. And a turquoise blue. So you can see, again, quite a colourful palette. And both of these mediums, most of you will know, are water soluble, so I can add water to them and I can disperse them, make them softer. I do also have a few more Inktense pencils that are a little bit different. So again, picking out those colours, the greens and yellows. So we have a sherbet yellow lemon and an apple green. And I do have a few luminants that I picked up recently as well. So I've got a bismuth yellow, bismuth, can't say that. And a moss, I think this is moss, yeah, moss green, which is my new favourite green. Oh, and I do have a blue as well. This is just a light blue. And you can see I've just added a little bit of water to the ones that are water soluble, just to give me an idea of how they look. So at my drink and draw session, we kind of used a mix of mediums. We used the water soluble crayons, we used Ecoline brush pens, we used Inktense pencils. We also though used charcoal, and I hadn't used charcoal for ages. And it was just really nice to actually use it. Show you, it's just a little kind of drawing of the daffodils, And what I find with charcoal is it's very forgiving, and you can get really nice kind of shadows just by moving the charcoal around, and then you can get really strong lines as well. And depending on how hard you press, you can get a really dark line or a really soft line, and also you can change obviously the angle, so you can get thick lines and thin lines. I just thought that was really enjoyable actually to use charcoal, and I think a lot of the participants also enjoyed using charcoal. I'm not going to use charcoal though today, but I thought I'd just mention it because it's just a nice medium to use. Actually, this piece here, this piece was actually a combination. So I did use charcoal, but I also used the brush pens and the water soluble crayons, and they just, yeah, together just made a nice lively piece. Let's start working in this book. So the first, it kind of goes straight into it. There just doesn't seem to be any kind of naming page, so that might work for me, because on the first page I'm going to just do some quick contour drawings. So when you're looking at your subject for the first time, sometimes it's really handy just to do a series of contour drawings, so you're kind of just looking at that outside edge. So, and to make it a fun exercise, it is quite fun, I'm going to use these brush pens to begin with, and so I'm just going to draw the daffodils, looking at some of the daffodils and the different heads they've got. I've got actually a couple of varieties here, so I've got one that looks more like a flower. I know that sounds weird. More like a, you know, you've got petals. The other variety which has the trumpet inside. So let's start with this, and all I'm going to do is draw the outside edge of it. I'm going to try and do it quickly and not think about it too much. So just go straight in with there we go, and paper, nice, took to it okay. And change my colour. I'm going to just look again at another shape that I can see. I'm looking at the trumpet this time. Okay, change. This exercise really is just to get you looking at what you can see. Trying not to get bogged down with detail. The thing with the brush pen is because they're quite thick, they kind of force you also to not get bogged down in detail. When we did this exercise on Saturday, I got them to turn the paper as well each time they did it, and also change the colour of their pen. Again, just to stop them from overthinking. I might just draw a jug shape. I've got the handle. You can see what I'm doing. Move this up a bit. Okay, we haven't had the blue. And I think I will just turn it upside down. That blue. I think with Ecoline pens as well, I love it when they overlap each other. They just have a semi-transparency to them, which then you can just see the line below, which is really nice. Okay, let's do another flower head. So you can keep going and going and going with this exercise until you cover all of the spaces, but I think I'll stop there for now. And you can see on that side there's no bleed through at all, and it's very smooth actually. When I was doing it, it didn't feel... I was thinking it might have bled a little bit just because looking at the paper it looked that way, and maybe a little bit on the overlaps it has. But yeah, that's quite nice. I like that. So I'm just going to put my colours at the top here. Oh, I didn't use that colour. There we go. It's kind of a really nice exercise just to start getting you looking at your subject, and you just also end up with all sorts of shapes and layers, and yeah, I actually really like it. Just gets you feeling ready to look at your subject. So yeah, that paper looks alright with that. Double page spread now. So what I thought of... This is editing Mel. Really sorry, but my footage that I had recorded for this somehow managed to corrupt itself. So instead, I'm just going to share with you the exercises that I did, and so here they are. So I first of all did some continuous line drawings. Actually, I think most of these are continuous line drawings, but I started with my fine liners just in a 0.8 fine liner black, and then I also did one in grey. I then changed hands and used my less dominant hand, so in this case it was switching from my right to my left. My next exercise then was a blind drawing. So this is where you're not looking at your piece of paper, you're just looking at the subject and you're just drawing what you see, and again just engaging your hand with your eyes. So you're basically just where your eyes are going, that's where you're drawing on the paper. And this was again a continuous line drawing. Final exercise I did on this page was just to use my fountain pen, and this time I just drew just line drawing. Some of it was continuous, some of it wasn't, and I just enjoyed using my fountain pen just to draw the daffodils and add a bit more detail. And there we go, a page of experimental drawings. When you look at what you've drawn, you might not like all of the experiments that you've done, but you often find there's something in there that you can maybe take then into your next drawing. On the next double page spread, I then started my next sketch. So I started actually by working on the background and actually focusing on the negative space, and I started just by applying really rough, quite vigorous crayon marks. And as I said, I was looking at the negative space, so I started around the base of the vase and then kind of made my way up, and then kind of left a little bit where the flowers would be and just applied all of this bluey green crayon, turquoise crayon to it. The next step I did was I applied some water. I took my brushes, sploshed it onto the page. You can still see the texture of the crayon, and then other areas more swooshy where the water has softened the crayon. The next step I did was apply the yellow of the flower. So I used the combination of the Neocolours and Ecoline brush pens. I just attacked the page with the materials, not really focusing on detail, but just focusing on shape. I added the green, did the same kind of thing. I used, I think, Inktense pencils on the green, along with some Neocolour greens as well. Started then to add more detail going in on top of the yellow, just to add the petal outlines and a bit of detail to the trumpet. I chose colours that would give contrast. And then I moved on to the jug, and I used my Lamy pen to outline the jug shape, and then I put the shadow down below the jug just using a Payne's Grey Luminance pencil. And yeah, I just finished, I think, with a few extra dark areas on the green bits, just to try and get the flowers to pop a bit more out. I often find that if something isn't quite coming out at me, it's normally because I haven't got enough contrast on the page. So yeah, that took me about 15 minutes to do. It's actually a really nice result, I think. Lovely and bright and colourful. There was only one area that did have a little bit of seepage through to the other end, and that was where I just added the Ecoline brush pen and added more water to it. But other than that, the page has stood up to that kind of vigorous sketching style, which I do like. I'm going to hand back to original Mel, because for some reason I do have this footage and it's not damaged. So over to Mel. So I hope you've enjoyed this kind of mini sketching video tutorial, just playing in my sketchbook, using a range of materials, seeing how the Piff Sketchbook has held up. Let me know in the comments whether you've got one of these sketchbooks. How are you finding it? Also, what are your favourite sketchbooks? Do you have a favourite type, a favourite brand? I'd love to hear. Hope you guys are well, and I'll speak to you again soon.